My name is Michael Rivera. I'm 48 years old, and on March 15th, 2024, I died. It happened on a Tuesday afternoon, a massive stroke, right in the leather chair of my high-rise office overlooking the Miami skyline. What Jesus revealed to me in the moments that followed, about the one thing I failed to give my family, well, it will shock every father, every husband watching this. Before that day, if you looked at my life, you'd say I had it all. I was the guy who'd made it, a real estate empire built from nothing. I'm talking a penthouse in South Beach, a summer home in the Keys, cars that cost more than most people's houses. I was a good man, you know? My name was on the donor lists for all the big charities. I paid my employees well, I was honest in my dealings, and I loved my family more than anything. My wife, Isabella, she was my rock. And my kids, my son Leo, 16, and my daughter Sophia, 14. They were my world. I gave them everything. The best schools, tutors for every subject, lessons for piano, for tennis, for anything their hearts desired. I made sure they had the best of everything. I worked 80-hour weeks sometimes, grinding, closing deals, building a legacy. All for them. But there was one thing I never did. I never prayed for them. It's funny, we went to church, you know? Christmas, Easter, the big holidays. We looked the part. The perfect, well-dressed family in the third row pew. But it was just a tradition, a thing we did. It wasn't real to me. I remember Isabella would come to me sometimes, her face etched with worry. Migs, she'd say, using her nickname for me. Sophia is having such a hard time with the girls at school. Can we just pray about it? And I'd pat her hand and say, "Don't you worry, honey. I've got it covered. I'll call the principal. Maybe we can hire her a confidence coach. I'll handle it." I always thought I could handle it. With a checkbook, a phone call, with my influence. When Leo was struggling in his honors physics class, I didn't pray for wisdom for him. I hired the most expensive tutor in Miami. When a business deal looked like it was about to collapse, I didn't get on my knees and ask for God's favor. I got on a plane and used my skills, my charm, my power to force it through. I was the provider, the fixer, the problem solver. I believed in God, sure, in a distant, vague sort of way. I figured as long as I was a good person, donated to the church, and took care of my family, God was, pleased with me. I was wrong, fatally wrong. That Tuesday, it started with a headache. A sharp, blinding pain behind my eyes while I was on the phone with a broker in New York. I told him I'd call him back. The pain was immense. The room started to spin. I remember reaching for the photo on my desk. It was of Isabella and the kids, taken in the Bahamas on our yacht. We all looked so happy, so perfect. My hand trembled as I tried to touch it. I felt a crushing pressure in my chest. My breath caught in my throat, and then nothing. I slumped forward, my head hitting the polished mahogany of my desk. I could feel myself detaching, like I was floating up, out of my own body. I looked down and saw myself slumped in the chair. It was the strangest thing. There was no pain, no fear, just a weird, peaceful quiet. I could see my secretary rush in, her face a mask of terror. I heard her screaming my name on the phone to 911, but it all felt distant, like watching a movie. A warm, golden light began to fill the room, pulling me upward. It wasn't just light, it was love. A love so pure, so total, it made every earthly success, every dollar I'd ever earned, feel like dust. I felt more alive in that moment than I had in my entire 48 years. And then I saw him, Jesus. He wasn't like the paintings. He was real, powerful. His eyes held all the love of the universe, but also a profound sadness that was directed right at me. I fell to my knees not because I was forced, but because His holiness demanded it. "Michael," he said. His voice wasn't a sound. It was a feeling that went through every part of my new, spiritual form. It was a voice of absolute authority and heartbreaking compassion. I expected Him to show me my sins, the times I'd lost my temper, the pride I had in my accomplishments. But He didn't. He said something far more devastating. "Michael, you gave your family everything. he said, and I could feel the sorrow in his voice. Everything except the one thing they needed most. You gave them everything a father could buy, but you withheld the one thing only a father could give them. You did not pray for them. I was confused. Lord, I stammered. I provided for them. I protected them. I was a good father. His gaze was gentle, but it pierced right through me. You built them a beautiful house, Michael, but you left it spiritually unguarded. You gave them the world, but you left them defenseless in a spiritual war you never even acknowledged was real. And then he showed me. The light around us shifted, and I was seeing my family not as they appeared, but as they were in the spiritual realm. I saw my beautiful wife, Isabella, kneeling by our bed at night, alone. Tears were streaming down her face as she prayed. Lord, protect my children. Miggs, he doesn't understand. He's a good man, but he's fighting the wrong battles. Please, Lord, cover them. Cover him. I could see her prayers rising like fragrant incense, and angels were there, listening. But I also saw a weakness in the spiritual covering over our home. A gap, and that gap was shaped exactly like me. Her prayers are mighty, Jesus said, standing beside me. But a cord of two strands is stronger than one. The authority I give a husband and father to be the priest of his home, you left it on the table and used. Then he showed me my son, Leo. I saw him a few weeks ago at a party. I thought he was just having fun with friends. But now I saw it through Jesus's eyes. I saw a demonic presence, a dark, slithering thing, whispering lies into his ear. You're not good enough. Your father's success is a shadow you'll never escape. This will make you feel strong. This will make you feel free. I saw a kid hand Leo a pill, and I saw my son's hesitation. There was a warrior angel standing behind Leo, battling these dark whispers, but the angel was strained. Look, Jesus said, pointing. Your prayers, Michael, born of your God-given authority as his father, would have been a wall of fire around your son. Your voice in prayer would have silenced the voice of the enemy. You sent him into a spiritual battlefield armed with a credit card, but no sword. The sight broke me. I saw my son struggle, and I hadn't even known it was happening. I had been fighting for his college applications, not for his soul. Then he showed me my sweet Sophia, my little girl. I saw her in her bedroom, looking in the mirror, but she wasn't seeing the beautiful, intelligent young woman she was. I saw hideous, dark creatures clinging to her, whispering poison. You're fat. You're ugly. No one will ever truly love you. You are worthless. And I saw her believing it. I saw her heart breaking under the weight of these lies. Lord, no, I cried out. Why? Her mother prays for her daily, Jesus said, his voice heavy with grief. But the voice of a father, Michael, your voice carries a unique authority in the spiritual realm to establish identity and security in a child. Your prayers would have been a hammer, shattering that cursed mirror of lies. You could have spoken my truth over her, that she is fearfully and wonderfully made, that she is my beloved child. But in your silence, the enemy's lies became her reality. Collapsed, weeping. All my success, my awards, my bank accounts, it was all meaningless trash in the face of what I was seeing. I had been a fool. I had spent my life building a sandcastle while a tsunami was headed for my family. I didn't know, I sobbed. I didn't know it was like this. This is why I'm showing you, Jesus said, pulling me to my feet. The enemy's greatest victory in the modern world is convincing fathers that their only job is to provide financially. He has tricked them into trading their spiritual authority for worldly success. They are raising children with full stomachs and spiritually starving souls. He looked at me, his gaze intense and urgent. I am sending you back, Michael. You are to go and tell the fathers. Tell them their first and most important job is not to provide, but to pray. Tell them their real legacy is not the wealth they leave in a bank, but the prayers they leave in the heavens. Tell them to pick up the spiritual authority they have laid down and to fight for their families on their knees before it is too late for them too. The light began to fade, and I felt a violent pull, like I was being sucked back down a long tunnel. The last thing I heard was Jesus' voice echoing in my soul. Do not fail them again. The next thing I knew, I was gasping for air. A bright light was in my eyes. The sound of beeping machines was all around me. I was in a hospital bed. Isabella was there, her eyes red and swollen. When she saw my eyes open, she cried out, "Miggs! Oh my God, Michael!" The doctors and nurses rushed in. They were all saying the same thing. It's a miracle. He was gone. We lost him. The first words I spoke, my voice hoarse and weak, were not about my business or my health. I looked at my wife, and with tears streaming down my face, I said, "Isabella, I am so sorry. Forgive me. I haven't been praying for you. I haven't been praying for our children." She just looked at me, confused, but she saw the change in my eyes. My life is different now. The business, it's just a tool now. My real work begins when I get home. My real work is on my knees. Every morning, before I do anything else, I walk into my children's rooms while they are sleeping. I lay my hands on them and I pray. I pray a wall of fire around them. I speak God's identity over them. I cancel the enemy's assignments against them. First, they thought it was weird, but now they feel it. The atmosphere in our home has changed. The peace is tangible. The anxiety that used to haunt my daughter's eyes is gone. The restlessness in my son's spirit has been replaced by a quiet confidence. My wife and I, we are no longer just partners. We are a spiritual force united in prayer. My name is Michael Rivera. I died from a stroke and discovered that I had provided my family with everything except the one thing that could truly save them. The warning I have is for every father out there. Your money cannot save your children's souls. Your success cannot protect them from the enemy. Your good intentions are not enough. You have been given a sacred duty, a spiritual authority, to be the priest of your home. Do not trade it for a corner office. Do not trade it for another dollar. Your family is in a spiritual battle, and you, Father, are their general. It is time to fight. If this message has spoken to your heart, if you feel the conviction of what Jesus has shown me, I need to know. Please write a Father's Prayer in the comments below and share what country you're from. Subscribe so you won't miss other urgent warnings God is giving His people. And please, share this with 3 other fathers who need to hear this message. It could be the most important thing you do for them and for their families.